Josetu, how's his injury status?
Day by day. Yeah, he's still a bit sore. So yeah, today we try a little bit, but yeah, we'll assess him tomorrow. We'll see.
If he can't go, I assume Jay is likely to step in.
Yeah, don't know yet. It's a possibility, of course. He's the one that played the other day there. I have Osi, I have Amar, I have Santi, so we'll see.
What's the dynamic between Jay and Tristan when Jay comes in? Is Jay playing as more of a six at that point, or is
Yeah.
Tristan dropping back?
Yeah. So Rosetto's been more the 6 as well. Ajani, yeah, he can play both, but when he enters for Rosetto, he's more the 6. When he enters for Tristan, he's more of an 8, right? Ossi is more of a 6, Amar is more of an 8, Santi is more of a 6. So yeah, we have options. That's the good thing.
What do you like about Jay's skill set as a six?
Well, a couple things. One is his physicality. I think he's one that can match the intensity of many attacking midfielders. So that's number one. Defensive skills are pretty good, and then on the ball he's pretty dominant as well. He likes to receive the ball in between the lines and progress the ball forward. He has also some change of pace on the move, so he can dribble past players. So he has a very good skill set, but also I like his mentality, his competitive mentality. He's a winner.
When you're playing a team for the 4th time in 5 games now, I think that's right.
I'm sorry, what, 4 times
In 5 games, the past 5 you played Columbus 4 times now.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can change that surprises them, or should just do what you do best and go
No.
from there?
I don't think there are many surprises at this point, not just between us two, but in general in the league. Most of the teams are consistent with what we have been doing throughout the whole season, or at the end, at least the last part of the season. So I don't think there are many surprises. Yeah, you can tweak little things, but I wouldn't call that surprise.
When you went back and watched the film, can you just talk? You talked a little bit about Tristan immediately after the game, but when you went back and watched film of Game 2, can you just expand a little bit on the things he was doing well that helped everybody around him?
Well, he had a monster performance in terms of pressing actions, recovery balls, dictating tempo on the ball. He was everywhere. He was literally everywhere, and the way he takes the angles to cover ground and the spacing awareness that he has to defend and attack is fantastic. Which has been consistent. I think this game he stepped up a little bit higher level, but he's been pretty dominant almost in every game. This one shined a little bit more, and I'm glad he did because he had a tremendous game.
And why is that particularly important against a team like Columbus that likes to hold the ball and build out for the back and can be very patient in its attack and in its movements?
Well, it's just, I mean, Columbus has many strengths, but I think that one of their main strengths is their pairing in midfield. I think those two normally dictate tempo, normally are very physical midfielders, and I think this game, Tristan, Rosetto, Ajani, they did a great job against them, and I think that we were the dominant team in that part of the field. So that's why it was important, because midfielders dictate a bit the style of the team. And if you have midfielders that don't like to receive in between the lines, that don't like to progress the ball forward, then sometimes you don't have the type of possession that you want to. So I'm glad that all the midfielders that I have are good on the ball, good off the ball, and we can match that intensity against Columbus.
Is there more pressure on y'all or Columbus in this Game 3, do you think?
Both.
Both? Yeah. Pressure, equal pressure? Even though they're at home?
I don't know. Pressure, no pressure. Like for me, it's more motivation, right?
Okay.
I mean, there's stress, there's anxiety as well. How you describe pressure? Like pressure is, being a single mother trying to feed your kids without job. That's pressure. That's pressure. And this is just enjoyment and motivation to face a good opponent in playoffs. That's motivation to me. But of course, there's the stress of the little things, the little message in my side, how I can message the players the right things, how I can call the right things, how I can choose the lineups, how I can do all the little things before the preparation. So this little stress on what is the right amount of message, right amount of film, right amount of training sessions. So that's the stress that we go through. It's nothing. It's enjoyment.
Okay. Was there any surprises about how Columbus put pressure on y'all when y'all were trying to build out the back? It seemed like they had 3 at the top at times.
No, I think they they did a couple different things throughout the game. I think there were moments where, yes, higher on the field, goal kicks, more 5-2-3, Gressel going on at times 4-3-3 because Gressel was pressing half and half in between Caleb and Shande. At times it looked like a 5-3-2 in middle block, like Matang was dropping next to Nahvi and Aiden. And then at times it looks at 4-4-2 because out of that Gressel put pressure. So I think they did a couple of different things, different structures defensively, which was interesting. So yeah, a little bit surprised with some of those, but I think we were successful against all of them. And I mean, I love tactics. I like to work in structures and things, but I think in this type of games, it's about going more by principles of play. And my players, I think they did great on that. The principles of our style, of our game, was evident in every attacking action. And I'm glad they solved some of the problems on their own, the rotation in the midfield for us, how Thiago was able to occupy at times 2 or 3 players, and that creates space for other 2 or 3 of us, and then we can switch upon the attack and change the pace. It was another one that we talked before. We felt that we were lacking that in the first game. So changing the pace once we break on the flanks, once we play Thiago in between the lines, we have to make runs in behind, play and move, play and sprint. It was very dynamic attack. So I'm glad that the team disrupted some of those pressing actions of Columbus very well.
That being said, sometimes teams in MLS tend to get away from their principles when they're on the road. How do you keep the team from doing that? Is there a chance that sometimes teams are too conservative on the road in these kind of situations?
Yes, I think it's a tendency in this league. I mean, we know that probably it's one of the most in the world that being the home advantage matters. So for me, it's just where you put your focus and your attention. And we have to put the focus and the attention in the little things, in the little principles, how I can do to help my teammate in defense, how I can do to hurt the opponent in attack. So all those little things, I think, is the attention of the players has to be there in the little things. Connecting my first couple passes, winning my first couple duels, then you start to gain confidence in the game. And it's one of those that is mental. It's a mental game. And in these playoff games, if you are mentally strong, you respond well when you play away.
Could you talk a little about the fullbacks and how much they contributed to Tuesday, both offensively and defensively?
Yes, I think it's a very good question because it was one of the keys of our game. The last game is how we were able to have the balance with the fullbacks offensively and defensively, protecting the crosses for them, the overloads for them with the back five, but also creating overloads in attack against their wingbacks. So I think it was a very disciplined game by Caleb and Brooks. I think Brooks had a couple tremendous defensive actions, like one in the first half, a little lateral pass from our primacy zone, and then he blocked the shot very, very well. I think actually it was a corner and it was called a goal kick, but it was a great defensive action, a couple aerial duels that he did very well. Caleb as well, he was shutting down most of the actions on that side. So defensively was very good. In attack, I mean, Brooks put an assist, Caleb put an assist, so it was the right balance of attacking, defending that you should have in your fullbacks.
And then the other one that jumped out to me was the substitution of the wingers, with Tyler coming on the left and having Tyler and Jay and Caleb all on one side of the field and that combination, but then Edwin on the opposite side. How just great is it for you to have very different kinds of wingers that you can bring into impact games?
Well, part of the reflection, the analysis on my side is that they were a little bit late. So I felt that it took me 10 minutes to make that decision, and I think 10 minutes earlier could have been better for us. That's when I rewatched the game and feel the flow of it, and maybe what I had is in my head is Shande just missed that one, and I didn't want maybe to be too critical and expose him a little bit. I want to give him a little bit of opportunity to come back and maybe score a goal or an assist, and that's what I had maybe in my mind. But now that I rewatched those 10 minutes before I saw the Sava and Shande, I think Columbus was dominant and created a couple good chances. So we needed a little bit that energy, that fluidity, but also how dangerous we can be in attack when the opponent is trying to overload us, and then they know that with Edwin, Tyler, we have a lot of energy in counters. So I think I was late, but it's good to have those options. I have also Derek, which in this game I didn't use, but is another one that can change the game offensively for us. I think in the first game he did quite well when he entered on the field. So I have options offensively, Jamal as well. So I have a good bench.
Maybe the underrated side of those two coming in as well was what they did defensively. I mean, we've talked about Tyler a lot with his pressing, but Edwin had a couple of big defensive plays.
Yes, especially at that moment with Yeboah. I think Yeboah was more of a winger before they played, more of a fullback in there, Amundsen. So I think he did quite well. There was just one play where he defended outside in that we were broken on that side. But in general, he was very good defensively. If you remember the third goal, it was the third goal or the fourth. It was the fourth goal. The one Thiago scores. It comes from Edwin defending in the air the far post, and he does the header. After that, he gets the ball from Brooks, and then he connects with Caleb, Thiago, and that's a goal. So that balance of wingers working both sides of the ball, hard work, effort, and then the reward is in the transition moment. So very pleased with those defensive actions for all of my wingers. Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you.